Wisdom's torch burns bright. Reincarnation's new path. Tibet's future shifts. Welcome to AI News Brew, your source for objective, fact-based news from around the world. Today, we're diving into a story that covers the realms of spirituality, politics, and international relations. The Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, has made a declaration that could reshape the future of his lineage and challenge China's authority in Tibet. The story of the Dalai Lama is a tapestry woven through 6 centuries of Tibetan history, spirituality, and geopolitics. From the first Dalai Lama, Gaden Phodrang, who founded the Tashilhunpo monastery in the 15th century, to the current 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, each incarnation has played a pivotal role in shaping Tibet's destiny. Notable figures like the Great Fifth and Ngawang Lobsang Gyatso unified Tibet politically and began construction of the iconic Potala Palace. The Great 13th, Tibetan Gyatso, declared Tibetan independence in 1913 and modernized the country's infrastructure. Now, as we approach the mid-2020s, the current Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, nearing his 90th birthday, has made a decision that echoes through history and challenges contemporary geopolitics. In a bold move that directly confronts China's stance, he's declared that his next reincarnation will take place outside of Tibet. This isn't simply a spiritual matter, it's a geopolitical chess move with far-reaching implications. This declaration comes at a time of heightened tension between India and China over the succession issue. The Dalai Lama has announced that only the Gaden Phodrang Trust has the authority to identify his successor, a statement that stands in stark contrast to China's insistence on its traditional process for selecting the next Dalai Lama. India, while maintaining official neutrality on religious matters, has indirectly supported the Dalai Lama's position, further complicating the diplomatic landscape. The current Dalai Lama's decision is not without precedent. Throughout history, the selection of each new incarnation has often been influenced by political considerations. The 4th Dalai Lama, for instance, was born in Mongolia, cementing an important alliance. Now, as the 14th Dalai Lama makes his unprecedented announcement, he's not just making a spiritual choice, he's writing a new chapter in a centuries-old story of faith, power, and cultural preservation. To understand the significance of this announcement, we need to take a step back and look at the historical context. The Dalai Lama is more than just a religious figure. He's been a symbol of Tibetan identity and resistance against Chinese rule for decades. Since fleeing Tibet in 1959 following a failed uprising against Chinese occupation, he's led a government in exile and become a global advocate for Tibetan autonomy. The process of identifying the next Dalai Lama has traditionally involved a search for a child born soon after the death of the previous Dalai Lama, believed to be his reincarnation. This process has been carried out in Tibet for centuries. However, since China's takeover of Tibet, the Chinese government has insisted on its right to approve the selection of high-ranking Tibetan Buddhist lamas, including the Dalai Lama. Now let's dive into the details of this recent declaration. According to reports from July 2025, the current Dalai Lama has stated unequivocally that he will be reincarnated outside of Tibet. This decision has been confirmed by Penpa Tsering, the head of the Tibetan government-in-exile, who added that the Dalai Lama will not be reborn in Tibet until it gains freedom. This declaration sets the stage for a potential future scenario that could have significant ramifications: the emergence of 2 rival Dalai Lamas. One would be recognized by Tibetan exiles and their supporters worldwide, while another could be appointed by the Chinese government. This situation would create a schism in Tibetan Buddhism and further complicate the already tense relations between China and the Tibetan exile community. The implications of this decision extend far beyond the spiritual realm. It's a direct challenge to China's claim of authority over Tibetan Buddhist affairs and the reincarnation process. By declaring that his reincarnation will occur outside of Chinese-controlled territory, the Dalai Lama is effectively attempting to safeguard the future of Tibetan Buddhism from potential Chinese interference. This move also raises questions about the future of Tibetan identity and culture. The Dalai Lama has long been a unifying figure for Tibetans both within Tibet and in exile. His decision to reincarnate outside Tibet could be seen as a way to ensure the continuity of Tibetan leadership free from Chinese control, but it also risks further separating the exile community from Tibetans within China. From a historical perspective, it's worth noting that this isn't the first time the reincarnation of a high-ranking Lama has caused controversy. In 1995, a dispute arose over the recognition of the 11th Panchen Lama, the second highest figure in Tibetan Buddhism. The Dalai Lama's choice disappeared shortly after being named, and China appointed its own candidate. This event serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of conflicting claims in the reincarnation process. Looking ahead, the Dalai Lama's declaration opens up a range of possible scenarios. It could lead to increased international pressure on China regarding its policies in Tibet. It might also spark renewed discussions about religious freedom and cultural preservation in the region. On the other hand, it could potentially harden China's stance and lead to further restrictions on Tibetan Buddhist practices within Tibet. As we wrap up this episode, it's clear that the Dalai Lama's announcement is more than just a religious matter. It's a move that intertwines spirituality, politics, and human rights, with potential repercussions that could echo for generations to come. This situation underscores the complex interplay between religious traditions and modern geopolitics, reminding us of the ongoing challenges faced by minority cultures in an increasingly interconnected world. We encourage our listeners to continue following this developing story and to explore the rich history and culture of Tibetan Buddhism. Understanding these complex issues is crucial as we navigate the intricate landscape of global affairs. Thank you for tuning into AI News Brew. We extend a special thanks to those who support our independent research and publications. Your commitment to objective, fact-based news is what drives us to bring you these important stories. Stay informed, stay curious, and keep brewing with AI News Brew. Until next time.